Hello, I'm Mitzi Wyman, and this is a short video to share with you some of the thinking that emerged from a session I ran recently for the NHS South East Leadership Academy. It was about loving the NHS, but not adoring it. We brought leaders together at what is a really difficult time to think together about their relationship with the NHS. And we used Nancy Kline's thinking environment approach to do that, to create the space where people could actually think, really think, not just react. Nancy Kline makes this distinction. Love allows for scrutiny, but adoration resists it. Now, of course, we love the NHS. We love what it stands for, the people in it, what it promises. But sometimes that love can tip over into adoration. And when that happens, we become protective. We start to feel like any criticism of the NHS is somehow a criticism of us. We resist the very scrutiny that could make it stronger. But if we're going to think clearly about the NHS's future, if we're going to make the decisions that need to be made to keep it sustainable and delivering good care, we have to be able to look at it honestly. We have to be able to question it without feeling like we're betraying it. So in this session, we used the thinking environment approach. What that means is we used rounds where people could speak without being interrupted, where they could actually think out loud and know they'd be heard. Because Nancy Kline says something really important, and that is that the quality of everything we do depends on the quality of the thinking we do first, and that depends on how we treat each other when we're thinking together. And when you create that kind of space, when people know they won't be interrupted, when they know they're being genuinely listened to, they can say things they wouldn't normally say. They can be vulnerable. They can think in ways they just can't when they're being judged or rushed. So the first question we asked was simple. What is your relationship with the NHS right now? And what came out was really raw. People talked about stress, about feeling like they're in an abusive relationship. One person actually used those words. Many of them had joined the NHS years ago with certain expectations, and now they're finding that the care and compassion they're giving out isn't coming back to them. Instead, there are cutbacks, redundancies, often at short notice, with very little real conversation with the people affected. And all the while, they're trying to keep delivering high-quality, compassionate care. But they're worrying about paying their mortgages, about their kids, and they know their teams are feeling exactly the same. The fact that people were willing to share that vulnerability, that honesty, that's what the thinking environment makes possible. The second question went even deeper. What truths feel hardest to face, and what could become possible if we faced them? Again, we used rounds, and again people listened without interruption. And what they shared was profound. They talked about pride, deep pride, gratitude, compassion, loss, and fatigue. That feeling of betrayal, and all of it at once. The complexity of loving something and being hurt by it at the same time. But here's what struck me most. Even when people were hurting, they still cared enough to tell the truth. And that's love. That's love in its bravest form. That's what scrutiny rooted in love looks like. Not tearing something down for the sake of it, but having the courage to face hard truths because you care deeply about what it could become. The thinking environment gave us the way to do that, to listen generously, to think clearly, to hold both the pain and the possibility together. Because Nancy Kline's right, the quality of everything we do depends on the quality of the thinking we do first, and that depends on how we treat each other when we're thinking. If we can hold that distinction between love and adoration, if we can question because we care, not despite caring, then maybe we can create the NHS that truly serves both the people working in it and the people who depend on it. I look forward to sharing with you further insights from our conversations. And meanwhile, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.